as an artist, prior to being working in arts admin, I was an artist that was fiscally sponsored through the Arts Council of Greater New Haven. And as a podcaster, I didn't even think that that was art. I said to myself, that's not art. It's not dance. It's not theater. It's not music. And it was the executive director there that said, well, you're expressing yourself, so it is art. And I realized the importance of art, especially during COVID when we were all staying and stuck at home. You were watching those versus battles and you were playing music and you were doing painting with your kids. That really helped us stay alive during that time. And I think we need to remember the one thing that actually kept us sane during that time, and we need to continue to support it because without it, God only knows where we would be without art and music. I think putting a face to the artist and putting a face to the organization is really important, and showing the proof in the pudding and showing how great the arts is. And I think that the proof is in the numbers at the end of the day. For every $1 spent in the arts, there's another seven generated. We got that data from AEP 5 years ago. I'm pretty sure this year is going to double or even triple. So it is a very great economic factor for us within our state, within our region, within the United States that we live. And I think it's really important for officials to understand the true impact of the arts. Their day to day is usually up on the hill, but they don't really get to see that young kid that was inspired or their life was saved or changed because they had that teacher that pushed them. And the teacher was able to get the funding to be able to see that spark in them at a young age so that they're able to develop into amazing artists that we all love. Michael Jackson, somebody's seen something in him. Whitney Houston, somebody's seen something in her. So we have to be able to make sure that we develop the amazing artists that we know to love. I see a lot of change happening with art. When you go to protests and you see those signs or you see the murals that represent a problem or something that's happening. I know with George Floyd, there are a lot of different artwork because a lot of times people don't really understand what is happening until they see it or they see a visual or they hear a poem that really hits them in the heart. That little gut feeling when you swallow and you feel that tightness in your neck. I think the arts really shows true impact when it comes to change in our world, whether it's cultural change, equity. Um, is really, really, really important for us to use the arts as a way to create change in all aspects of life. So we partner actually with the City of New Haven's Arts, Culture, and Tourism Department to create our first ever cultural equity plan in the state, the first in the state and the first in the city. And it's literally a blueprint of how you can be more equitable within your arts and with your arts organizations and the different barriers and the gatekeeping that is done within organizations, and then within city officials and the budgets and things like that. So um, that is one big thing that we've done greatly. We also are really pushing advocacy in our Yaji. So we have a youth arts journal initiative where we have young high school students come in and they're able to learn about journalism. We give them a camera, we pay them, and they're able to go out on the streets and tell the stories that we need to be told. And we're teaching them at a young age. We're teaching them that their art is worth money. Like nobody does anything for free because exposure doesn't pay bills. So just teaching those kids at a young age, I think that's an amazing way that we've been able to teach advocacy as well because their voices are being heard. Um, I used to always hate when I was a kid to be like, oh, well, you don't know anything. You're not old enough to know. No, these kids they know, especially with COVID and all the things that they've been through and how triumphant they are and how determined they were still after all of that. I think we need to grow and enhance their gifts and their crafts. So love partnering with our youth, love partnering with our city to really create change. We're really big on advocacy within our organization. So during session time, we write our letters to Congress. We go up to Hartford, and we really make a voice and make it be heard. And we're teaching our community how to do that, right? I never knew when I was younger that you can actually go to a budget meeting and give public testimony and say, listen, these are the things that we want you to fund. The alders work for you. These congressmen and women, they work for us. So if we say and demand what it is that we need, there are so many great things that can be done. And I think in the urban community in which I live, that was so foreign. That idea of I could actually have a voice and it means something has been so foreign. So teaching about, being able to write public testimony, going to different hearings, being able to contact Rosa DeLauro's office or Senator Blumenthal's office and say, hey, I want to set up a meeting to be able to talk to you. I think that educational piece, to our youth and even to some adults that don't know about it, I think is really vital, because once we have one voice is good, but 10, 20, 50, 100 voices are even better. So Americans for the Arts is like the best. As I said, as an artist, I see all the transitioning and the great things that you do for the whole state across the board. Like even AEP 6 and being a part of that survey is so vital, because at the end of the day, everything is about numbers. So like even coordinating that is so vital for helping us to be able to get grants and get funding. And Americans for the Arts is really a resource for not only artists but nonprofits, and different organizations. You guys are literally like the go